Hello, children. Good morning to one and all. Welcome to the today's session. So, in the last class, we have learned how the history, why the history is more important, why we have to study, and what are the sources. We have discussed about literary source playing a very important role in the construction of history there. So, I have told the um, divisions of literary sources. It has been divided into foreign sources and endogenous. Foreign sources, the people those are coming outside from other countries, they are entering to our countries. So those travelers, they wrote lot of things about our country. So as a result, from there also we will get lot of information. Endogenous means sacred literature like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Vedas, Upanishad, so etc. Will give the information regarding the ancient period. And secular literature means uh, which has been written by the scholars during that time, like Panchatantra, Arthashastra, and Kautilya, Abhignana Shakuntala of Kalidasas, um, Malvikagnimitra, so etc. are some of the literary sources which has been written at that period only. So and also I have told about bark leaves and the palm leaves and the bark leaves. So during that time, it was used as a paper during that period there. So in the last class we have discussed lot of things there. So now archaeological sources in deep, we are going to learn about archaeological sources there. So the study of material remain of the past is known as archaeology, and a person who study this remains as an archaeologist. So in the last class only I have repeated this one. So once again I am going to repeat about archaeological sources, and then I will end the chapter there. Once again I am going to explain each and every part once again. Okay, so archaeological sources, the materials remain in the past, whatever materials like wells, coins, as well as inscription, pillars, temples, buildings. So these are the material remains as an identity of the past. So as a result, uh, these materials, this kind of sources we call in the name of archaeology. So a person who study about these materials is known as an archaeologist uh, in our country, and he used to study about this, and he used to reconstruct how the society was living, what are the uh, what I have to tell, what are the events took place, how the kings were ruling. So based on keeping in the minds of these materials only, the archaeologist, they will try to reconstruct it. Okay, so among those, so it is the study of remains building made of stones and the bricks, paintings, sculptures, art and architecture of the temple, and explore and excavation to find the tools, weapons, weapon parts, as well as some of the parts of the buildings, ornaments, coin, jewelry, etc. Are they helpful to study the archaeological sources to reconstruct the history there. Okay, we can ask what are the examples to understand the archaeological sources of the past. So you have to write this kind of example like stones and bricks, or buildings, paintings and the sculptures, etc. will help to reconstruct the history. Or you can mention the coins, inscriptions, weapons, tools, etc., etc. So for 1 marks, it may come as a it will come in an exam during your periodics when the school will start. Okay, among those, in detail, today we are going to learn about inscriptions. So these are written relatively on the hard surfaces such as stones and the metal. So inscriptions are written on the hard substance, as well as hard material, uh, in on stones and the or by using the metals there. So sometimes king got their orders and instruction inscribed so that people could read, and whatever they have read, they should follow that rules and regulation as well as instruction. So why the inscriptions were being written means, sometime to give the orders to the common people, so they used to subscribe as well as scribe the um, inscriptions there on the stone, or by using the hard metal like iron, copper. By using those metals, they used to write the instruction, whatever law and order he is implementing in his kingdom. So he used to write, and he used to place it in one area or one region, so that each and every people, they should come to know what he has been written there. Afterwards, they have to follow that rules and regulations which has been done by the king. So king often kept the records of their victories in the battle in them. The study of inscription is called as epigraphy. So king often, not only they used to write the orders and the instruction, but also their achievements. So through inscription only, many of the king's achievements we have come to know in the ancient period. For an example, Samudragupta's Allahabad pillar inscription. So about his achievement, whoever kings were being defeated, how many kings were being defeated, from which region to which region, each and every point about his contribution and about his achievement, it has been written in the Allahabad inscription. So same thing during the ancient period, after the decline of Mauryan Empire, the Kharavela king came to the throne in the Odisha. So he also wrote one inscription in a cave called Hathigumpa. He ruled 13 years. Uh, he ruled 13 years uh, um, in his region there. So whatever he did, his achievements, and whatever he has done the conquest or battles capture the other places, so he all written in a 13 lines there. So by reading that inscription, the historians as well as the archaeologists, they will come to know, oh, these are the achievements done by the king there. So in this way, not only they used to give the instructions and the orders to the common people, but also their victory, they also their achievements, what they have done in their lifespan there. So the study of inscription, the people those who study this kind of inscription are called as a epigraphist, or the study of inscription is called as epigraphy. So during that time, whichever language was being produced, so that language will be learned by the epigraphist, and then they will decode the language what it has been written. So in your Karnataka surrounding also, many and many lakhs together inscriptions are there. So you can go and see the in which language they have written, which kind of language we were using during the ancient period there. So when even in inscription also, lot of varieties are being there, like donation inscription is there. If any kind of king, he is giving a donation to a such a religious aspect, for a Buddhist or a Jain people or a Hindu temples, means he used to inscribe in the stone, and they used to keep where their temple is there, where their monasteries like mata monastery is nothing but is ಮಠಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಾಗ. So in those monasteries, they used to keep that inscription there. And whenever you go to the ancient temples, like Pattatkal, Beluru, Halebeedu, even in Triputeshwara temple, so there also you can find some of the inscription are being placed where the king gave little bit contribution towards that temple there. So even those this kind of inscription we call it as a donation inscription, and their victories, battle, administration, law and order, each and everything they used to write in the inscriptions there. So archaeological source materials include things like coins, building, painting, and the seals. Even the archaeological sources materials, not only the inscriptions are being there, but also through the buildings, also through the coins, painting, and the seals. Seals means during the period of Harappan civilization, it was a one type of a coin where they were used to purchase the goods and services, and they used to sell the goods and services there. So for them, we call it as a seals. So those also are very helpful to reconstruct the history in the past, but how the people were been living and everything else. So these sources will give us the information about how the people lived in the past, how the people were been living, in which condition they were living, whether it is a good period, whether it is a very bad situation, each and everything. By seeing this kind of records only, we will come to know how the king administration was going on during that time. So these sources, without these sources, we cannot reconstruct history there, because at that period, uh, we don't know what it has been happened. So by keeping this kind of sources only, the archaeologist, epigraphist, and historians, they will try to reconstruct the history there. So Goins will give the information about social and economic condition of that time. Social and economic condition means economic. At period, what money system is there? Based on that one, we will study what is the economic activities will take place in our country. So same thing, by using coins, we will come to know what was the economic condition during that time. And also through the coins, we will come to know from where till where their administration was been there, whether it is in a whole Karnataka, or whether it is in a particular place. So by seeing the coin circulation only, we will come to know about their social and economic condition, how the people were been living, whether the people were very wealthy or not. Each and everything, by studying the coins, we will come to know that. So the study of coins, we call it as a numismatics. So archaeologists also look for bones of animals, birds, and the fish. So these, we call it as, in the ancient period, whatever animals were been there, which kind of animals were been there, that rare animals we will call. At present, we will not see in a pictures only. We can see like dinosaurs. We will see in the picture, yes or no. So some of the birds, even they have been perished long ago only. So about those traces also, the archaeologist will study about that one. So this is a picture of a coin. In this way, the coins were being circulated, and it was being made by the kings and the queens according to their region. So I have told about inscription they have written in the stones. So one example, by showing the picture, I'm telling you about this kind of languages in different region. Different languages will be used to write the inscription. So one, it has been written in the stone, and another one is also, it has been written in the stone there. So the forts, whatever building, forts, ಕೋಟೆಗಳು ಏನು ಕಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, so through that also we will find out what is the strength of the king and how he was ruling the region. Yes, temples, many of the kings, they gave the contribution for the construction of the temples. By seeing the temples, we will come to know how the king was rich and how he was powerful. So this is the example of monasteries, Buddhist monastery, which has been constructed by the Ashoka. It is in Madhya Pradesh, called Sanchi Stupa. So it was been constructed by uh, the great king Ashoka Dera. So these are the some of the example of archaeological sources. So by keeping this kind of sources only, the archaeologists, historians, they try to reconstruct the history there. Okay. So historian, that is the scholar who study the past, often use the word source there. Found from the manuscript, inscription, and archaeological artifacts, materials we call in the name of archaeological artifacts, etc., and reconstruct bit by bit. So by studying in a deep way, they try to construct bit by bit without giving any kind of ಏನಂತೀರ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ನು ಅವ್ರು ತಪ್ಸಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಚೂರ್ ಇರೋ ಅಂತ ಇವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನು ಸಹಿತ, with the help of sources, they try to reconstruct it. So the historian and the archaeologist are like a detectives who use all these resources and the clues to find out what it has been happened in the past. Okay. If I take one example, uh, Ramayana and Mahabharata, some people will tell that these are an imaginary story which has been written in the ancient period. Some group of the people, they will defend that one. Other group of the people, they will tell that really it has been happened. So uh, during at this discussion as well as this argument, the archaeologist and the historians, what they will do, they will start finding all kind of clues by using the resources there, like coins, buildings, and whatever literary sources they are getting about Ramayana and Mahabharata. They used to collect and they used to keep there. So in TVs and everything else, they will try to show that near Sri Lanka, Sri Ram has constructed one bridge there. So that bridge has been constructed by the Rama only, and some of the traces will be find out that the Lord Hanuma was living in that region only. Okay, about Kurukshetra. In the Mahabharata, some of the traces we will find out. So, the historians and the archaeologists are like a detectives. So, by keeping this kind of resources, this kind of clues, they will find out whether it has been happened or not. Whether the people are saying very simply or telling lies or not. So, they will go and search what it has been happened in the past there. So in this way, these are called as a detectives, as well as these are they will reconstruct history bit by bit, and then it will enclosed, as well as it will be tell in front of the people. Another example if I take means Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization is our first civilization of our country. So about this civilization, many of the people were unaware about that one. And when the Britishers started excavation about this uh, civilization, they came to know that before Vedic civilization, the Harappan civilization was been there, and afterwards it was been declined. So even till today also, some of the people, they will tell that the Aryans, the Vedic people has came from other another part of the country. They defeated the Harappans and then they started their civilization in our country. So some people believe in that theory. Some people will believe that whether the Harappan civilization has been uh, ended by the some natural calamities like flood, tsunami, etc., etc., which took place in the past pages. So the archaeologists, by as well as the historians, by gathering all kind of sources, they will tell that it has been ended by the natural calamities only. So recently this update was being given by the archaeologist only from the archaeological department, as well as the geologist who will study about soil as well as land surface of the earth. How many layers are being there, how which layer, which what is the feature of which layer, it will be studied by the geologist. So those people, they deeply study how the Harappan civilization came to an end, and they propounded the theory that by the natural calamity only the entire civilization was came to an end there. So by this, the historian as well as the archaeologist, they got the clarity that the Harappan civilization came to an end by the natural calamity only. So in this way, by keeping the certain clues, they will find out about the past there. Okay, so last but not least, these sources helps a lot to know about the past. For a complete and accurate understanding of the past event, historians has to consider all kind of resources what is available for him. Even about ordinary people like hunters, fishing folk, gatherers, farmers, etc., they do not keep the record what they did. While the archaeology helps us to find out about their life, and there is much that remains unknown. So these people, common people, they don't know how to keep their record, whatever they have done, their activities, their day-to-day life. The people were not aware about that one. We have to keep that record. But kings, after his death, the people has to remember for certain period means they used to inscribe in the inscription. The scholars, they used to write the stories on their kings. So as a result, we will get about the king there. Then how about the ordinary people? So whatever archaeological artifacts we are getting, like vessels, even till today also, under the earth's surface we will get lot of archaeological artifacts which will tell about the past there, how the people were been living, what are the clothes they were wearing. And by keeping this kind of remains as well as this kind of artifacts only, they will try to reconstruct the ordinary life of the people, and in this way only the people were been living in the past period there. So if you are having any kind of doubt, you can just pin your question in the group. And thank you for visiting by seeing the videos and understanding the concept. So thank you once again. If you are having any kind of doubt, you can just pin your question in the group so that I will try my level best to sort out your problem. So signing out. Have a great day. Bye everyone.